So we got a big old U-neck horse here. There's like physically like a 90-degree angle right here on his withers. His head goes straight up. So we're really gonna work on getting him to extend his head down. So this is kind of my first ride, so I always like to take off at an angle in case I have to double him up to stop him. In case you're wondering what doubling up means, this is what it means to double one up. You bend them, let the hindquarters disengage out to the side, and both directions. So I'm gonna just get him starting off to the right here. Make sure you double him up, which means just fold him in half basically. Hindquarters should go out that way. Feet should stop. So I'm pretty confident I can stop him if I have to. Plus I've seen him being ridden, so got a little bit of confidence in him anyway. But he is a little touchy. He's been a little jumpy. He just balked at my rope hanging there. I saw a new place. Although he's been shown, he's still not real confident yet. But as I was saying before, I really want to work in his head because all of his muscles are designed the way he's been operating most of his life is with his head straight up. So the better we can get it like that, he stopped, cocked his head up like an ostrich. So a good way to work on bringing that head down, I'm going to lift up with my inside rein, which is my right rein, and with my left hand, I'm going to choke up and I'm going to try to hold this and low down to the left side of his neck. So I'm going to lift this one and I'm going to try to keep a nice bend in his rib cage with my calf, my right calf. When his head comes down, I'm just going to follow it down with my hands. So I'm trying to hold that location with my left hand here, and I'm trying to lift with that right hand. And when he pulls, I'm going to follow that neck right down to the ground if that's where he wants to take it. I just have to trust that he's not going to kick out from behind, which I really don't think that's going to happen. So his go-to, he wants to lift that head, and that must be how he likes to stop. So if my body quits moving, watch his head, it'll just come straight up. You see it just goes pop straight up. I'm not doing that. He's doing that. So as we're moving, like I said, I'm going to lock his left arm down, try to put a little tension in the rein. I'm going to lift with my inside right hand, my right rein. I'm going to drive him with the legs. So I'm bending him around my right leg there. As his head goes down, I'm just going to follow it with my hands. So I'm going to put a bend in him to the right. I'm going to lift with that right hand. And if he gets any resistance and pulls down, I'll just follow that hand down, or that rein down with his nose. So we're going to do a lot of this working long and low. The good news is he already knows how to put his nose into his chest. So now we just got to lift, and follow the nose down. Lift, just a few hundred more times, and he'll have it down pat. So what happens when his head and neck gets low? So all of these tendons, all these muscles that start from the top of his ears and go all the way down the back of his the back of his legs. So all these tendons and ligaments are going to get stretched and lengthened, and in turn, as he's in that position with his head low and he's reaching deep under himself, he's learning how to use his hindquarters. That's going to build a nice, beautiful top line on him. So it's a slow process. You can see when he stops, the head comes straight up. So we're going to work on getting that head down at all gaits, in all directions. The easiest way to start, though, is with a bend. So as I bend him around my left leg, and he really doesn't want to bend his head and neck. So I'm just going to press my spur in there. There, I got a nice little try. There, he's reaching down, and I just follow the head down. So I'm going to put a nice bend with my calf, lift, lift, reach, reach. Lift with my right hand and drive him, then follow his head to the ground. So bend in his rib cage, lift, right hand. I'm going to hold my left hand kind of stable there so he can't over bend to the right. And I'm just looking for him to reach down like that. Okay, so you saw he stopped. He just brings that head straight up. Now let's try the left side. So, same deal, different lead hand, different supporting rein, different calf. So here I'm gonna put a little pressure with my left calf, lift my left hand, and try to hold his head steady with my hand. So I'm lifting, lifting, lift, there. So I'm lifting, lifting, driving with my legs, then I'll follow that head down to the ground. Do that again. Lift, drive with my spurs and legs. Lift, 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 lift with my left hand. Block with my right hand, drive with my leg. There. So just a few thousand more times and he'll start reaching. He'll start working. He'll start extending. He'll stretch. He won't be hollowed out. He'll get his hind legs up underneath of him. We just have to get him physically ready to do that. Kind of like lifting weights. There. So we're gonna lift, 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 massage that his gums with a bit, and follow it down. So we're gonna lift, 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 and as you can see with my right hand, I'm just holding it steady so he can't overbend to the left, and I'm also keeping it nice and low. So whenever he starts bringing his head down, I'm kind of massaging those gums with the bit. So I'm massaging it, massaging it, massaging it, massaging it, massaging it, let him find his own relief. Lifting, there. So, like I said, a few thousand more times, he'll decide that's the best way to operate. He needs to learn to get down like that. Can't do anything with your head popped straight up in the air like this, like an ostrich. So, we kind of got him started going forward like that. Now, you can see he's real busy with his mouth. So we're just going to get my hands nice and low, ask for a little back. I'm just asking with my hands. Now I'm going to bring my toes forward because that's the likely cue that he's learned, possibly. I'm just going to hold. If he brings his head down, I'm just going to follow it down just like that. Like that. So a good way to teach a horse to quit fumbling with the bit like that with their mouth is to get him to back to a nice comfortable spot. This might take a while with this kid, but what I like to do is just I'll get him backing up, get him backing. Okay, my cue to back isn't the same as his cue, so I have to learn how to back him. And I prefer not to do that with his chin against his chest. So, we're going to have to teach him to back. I think we got a few minutes to do that right now. So one way to teach a horse to back is to teach them to step their hindquarters right, 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 left, left, left. And then instead of going to the left, you start reaching back with those hindquarters. So I'm just going to put a slight bend in his neck to the left. I'm going to put a little spur on. I'm going to press, and I'm looking for those hindquarters to step out to the right, just like so. I'm going to hold till stop. Then I'm going to put a slight bend to the right. I'm going to add that right leg. I'm going to put a little pressure on the hind until I get the hindquarters to yield. So what I liked about that, hindquarters yielded, and he actually started to back a little bit. So we want him to be able to yield the hindquarters like a turn on the haunches in a forward motion, like so. So I want him to step under, and still remain forward. But I also want to be able to have him step under, and then start to bring his weight back. So he can do both. So right now, we're just going to get the hindquarters. So I'm looking for his left hind to step off to the left. So I'll do that with a slight bend, a little press of the spur. There's a try. He thought I was a fly. Then we'll go to the left. Kicked at my spur because flies are starting to get a little rough out here. So there goes the hind. I'll leave him alone. Drive him forward. Just going to get a little hindquarters out to the right. Really nice. I get the hindquarters off to my left with my right spur. Very nice. Now we'll see if we can just get a little right. There, right step. And here's our left step. So I'm looking for the left hind to step off to my left. I'm going to look for the right hind to step off to my right. Okay, as you can see, stepping out to the side with a little bend in his head, neck. Now he's stepping off to the side with that left hind. So all we have to do is direct those hindquarters to reach back. So they're stepping off to the side, off to the side. Then we want, instead of off to the side, start reaching in a backwards motion. So we'll add a little rein here in just a minute. So we'll go right hindquarter, bring the weight back just a little bit. We'll go left hind, step off to the left, just a little bit. So I'm still asking. Hasn't given me anything quite yet there. You saw his weight draw back. We'll go right hind. There's it. He's starting to back a little bit. We'll go left hind. There, he's bringing his weight back. We're teaching this bad boy how to back. He just don't even know it yet. So we'll go left hind, reach back. Right hind, reach back. Left hind, reach back. Right hind, left hind. That's a lot easier than jerking on his mouth, don't you think? Fine job, young man. So that's just the start. So we'll step up and we'll start over. So anytime I'm asking him to go forward, I want to have a couple different positions with my pelvis and my body weight. So if I want to go forward, I kind of lean forward, squeeze the legs. I'm just asking to step forward. The more consistent I am, and I lean back to stop, and I like to bring my toes up. So I'm going to go back here with the hind quarter one more time. There's the hind to the right. There's the hind to the left. Now we'll go hind to the right, back, hind to the left back, right back, left back, right back, left back. Now we're starting to back a little bit. He's reaching with those hind quarters. Try that one more time and see if we can get a little further. We always want to have an open area to back your horse. Don't back him into the fence. That kind of ruins your progress real quick. So I'm leaning forward. I'm squeezing my legs. This means walk forward. Trying to be consistent with that. Toes up. Stop the reins. So now I'm going to reach back with the left hind, left hind, right hind. So I'm going with my right leg, I'm pressing, my left leg, I'm pressing, my right leg, I'm pressing. So when I press with my left leg, I'm also putting pressure on my left rein. So I'm going left rein, right leg, left rein, left leg, and so on. I'm just alternating back and forth. So we're going left, right, right. You can see my legs swinging, and what I'm doing is pressing that hind quarter. I'm reaching back with that leg. So we got in a little bit of a hole right there. So we'll just start over. We'll get a little bit more to the left. Here we'll go a little bit more to the right with our step. And what I'm going to do is just swing that right on around. He really gives his hindquarters nice. So I'm getting the right hindquarter. And I want the hind to the left, right, left, right, left, right. And I'll just keep backing until he quits pulling on my hands and he starts paying more attention to my legs. So I'm just asking, and I'm running out of room, but I'm going to keep asking. Wasn't perfect. His head's still like an ostrich up in the air. So we're going to do it one more time. This time we're going to try to weight him out on his head. And when we get any kind of lowering of the head, so legs up, reins. If the head's up here and it starts to lower, we're going to leave him alone. So I'm going right, left lane, right rein, right leg, left, right. So I'm freeing up those hindquarters. And I'm asking him to back. And his head, he's not fighting as bad as he was last time. If he brings his head down, I really would like to lower my hands with his head. There, that was a try. So you got to have a starting point. So we were up here, and when we finished, I let go of his head when it was almost touching the ground. So we'll go one more time. I want to go forward. I want to lean forward. I want to reach that rein out there. I want to be consistent when I ask him to go forward. When I stop, I want to kind of lean back, bring my toes up. That time I didn't need any rein. That was really nice. So now as we back, I'm going to go right rein, right leg, left, and I'm going to alternate. He's just a little confused, that's all. That I like that where he stopped and he brought his head down as he was backing, so I let him go. So eventually I like to do that on like a super loose rein. So I'm going to go right, left, right. He's remembering. So it's progress. Like I said, not perfection. I'm walking forward, lean forward, squeeze my legs. When I want to stop, kind of sit down on my pockets, bring my toes up a little bit. I kind of overdo it sometimes. That's just my style. It's not a good one. Try to be subtle, but in my brain, I want these big old stops, and you don't get them by pushing too hard. Okay, so he's a little bit stuck, and it's probably not a big deal. There we go. So I'm going to ask the right hind over, then the left hind over, then the right hind over, then the left hind over. We're just reinforcing what we've already learned. Now we're going straight back with it. So he's not real there. That was a pretty nice cadence. He took a few steps back with a nice cadence. So I'm pretty happy with that. And the whole point of that is someone to lean forward, ass forward, squeeze. The main thing that we were actually looking at was we were talking about working his head down, getting him to work long and low, at like all gates, forward, backwards, left and right. So I would like for him to start backing with his head already low like that, and then just be very, very subtle with my legs. Maybe keep my hands low. So his go-to is to bring that head up. So I'm going to spur him here. Spur, spur. There. That wasn't much, but that was a good try. Let's try that one more time. So I'm going to ask for the head first. I'm going to ask him to bring it down just a little bit. Then I'm going to spur him up. There's a right spur, there's a left spur, there's a right spur. So we're going to go left spur, right spur. And I know I'm running out of room back there. There, that's a good try. So we also want him to go forward with a nice low head. Work. There, that's beautiful. Yeah, I'm gonna set back in my pockets, lean back, say, ooh. I'm gonna work on that head. I want to bring it down. Then I'm gonna add those spurs. So I'm just gonna alternate left and right spur. So I'm just holding his head, spurring him up. Left, right, left. He's really wanting to bring his head down now. I'm also leaning a little bit over the saddle horn and freeing up these muscles back here, these tenderloins, so he can contract and reach those feet easier. So I'm going to try to put my chest over the horn here, just as an easy way for him to learn to reach back with those hind legs. Okay. So I'm gonna work that hindquarters, those hindquarters one more time, because he's not coming off my leg very well. There's a little left, a little right. So the hindquarters off to my left. So all this mouth movement and all this chomping at the bit, that's gonna go away. That's gonna go away. Just need to be consistent with my hands and release. And then once I can get him to back easily and turn easily and bring his head down and relax, what I'll end up doing is just holding my hands in the fixed position, probably after a back, and hold him right there until his mouth quits moving, and then I release. Once again, that'll only take like 3,000 or 4,000 tries, but I got nothing but time, so there he's not working his mouth. So we're going to work on the back up. Left leg, left hand, right leg, right hand, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. There we go. Now I'm just going to hold my hands there, looking for some relaxation. I'm going to hold my hands. His head goes down. I'm going to walk him forward this time. I'm going to lean forward, walk forward. You see his head's getting a lot lower. Little right turn, little left turn. Little right turn. They start to feel in my legs, my hand. It's making some funny noises. So we need to get forward. We need him to go forward and not head up and backwards. So right here, I need to really get him off my inside leg there. Right here, off my inside leg. Off my right leg. Woo! So he's learning to get off my right leg. Just add a little bit of spur whenever he starts pushing on my leg. And I'm going to be consistent with my hands here in this right turn. More leg, solid hand. So we're trying to get him to travel forward. More leg. There. There. So I'm just looking for some bend throughout the ribs. Not trying to start a fight with him. Although we're starting to get a little bit of a fight here. So we'll go one more time. We'll switch directions. I'm going to put a little left leg on him here. I'd like for him to go forward, and wherever his nose goes, I like to see his tail go in the same place. Basically like he's on a set of train tracks. So I got my left leg bend. Got a little left rein. Just asking for some bend. There, his head's coming down a little. I like that. Not a lot, just a little bit. So we'll come over here. We'll see how that backup is. So I'm going to go ahead, sit down in my pockets, ask him the back. The back's a little bit better. He got locked up. Got to free them hindquarters up with my spurs. Put them legs forward, wait for the head to come down, and then give it back to him. Ask for some backup. I'm going to free them hindquarters up. Not bad. Free those hindquarters up. Now he's remembered how to back. That was good. Good. So we about had enough for tonight. The flies are getting bad. We didn't do any fly spray because they weren't bad when we started. So we're just going to go one little more try consistently. Lean forward, reach forward, ask for forward. Put my left calf on, look left. Just get a nice, try to get a bend throughout his ribs, his neck, and his pole, his atlas and that. Then we're going to switch, put a little right calf on. Kind of keep my weight somewhat centered, somewhat to the outside of the turn. So whenever I do this right turn, I'm going to put a little extra weight in my left butt cheek there. So you see he's not being consistently straight, no cadence or rhythm in his walk forward. He doesn't want to be right. So I'm adding spur to bend him and try to keep him forward. So I'm trying to just be real consistent with my hands. He'll get better. This is our first dance here, our first time together. So he's really coming into the turn instead of following his nose. So as soon as I get a really decent try, which is right there, it's not bad, then I'm going to sit down on my pockets, and I would really like one good backup before we finish up. So he's trying. We can do better. So I'm gonna lean forward, driving forward. I'm gonna get one good back up. Sit down in my pockets, ask him to back. So I'm gonna spur him up. That was a nice cadence. He really tried for me there. That's a good place to put him up. He reached evenly, had a nice cadence. He didn't just go one leg at a time. He was kind of going one back, and then he'd bring the other one back. That last one, he had a nice diagonal pairs working together. So we'll shut him down right there. We'll get back at it in the morning. He's almost like a little awkward young 2-3-year-old horse where he don't know where his feet are, but he'll get there. I don't remember how old he is. Ooh, he's got some funky teeth. So he's might have had a damaged tooth there. So there's 2.5, 3.5. I have to ask Manny, but it looks to me like he's 4. Maybe 4.5 almost.